What's up, everyone? Vu of Envu Films, and I am back with another idiotic video for you to watch. And today's video is idiotic because I'm about to talk to you about how to not miss the shot while wedding filmmaking when I pretty much almost missed the shot. But as always on this channel, I am learning just as you are. And when I come across real world situations that I felt like I learned from, whether it be camera gear, shooting experience, or whatever, I'll share with you. And in my case, luckily, after 6-7 years of wedding filmmaking, I've never missed a pivotal wedding shot, but I really came close this past weekend for a New Year's Eve wedding. And when you think of New Year's Eve wedding, the only thing that really makes it different than just other weddings is the New Year's Eve countdown to New Year's Day. And I almost missed the moment for the bride and the groom. It was this close. And pretty much what happened was on the itinerary, there was a ball drop to set up at 11:50. And at 11:50, I was running around, looking for where the bride and groom were. Obviously, there's a big party. Everyone's drinking. Everyone's having a good time. Everyone's dancing. And I see the bride kind of in the middle of the dance floor. I also see kind of the groom in the middle of the dance floor. So I just start walking around in a circle trying to figure out how this is going to be done. And my expectation was the DJ would probably make an announcement, or the planner would tell the DJ to make an announcement for the bride and groom to come up to the front, this, that, and the other. And I saw the photographer in the middle of the dance floor as well, taking pictures. And, it's Rona and all that stuff with this Omicron crap. So I was kind of like, you know what? I'm going to just film from the outside, I have kids and stuff. I probably won't get sick, but I have kids at home and who knows what could happen. So pretty much for a solid 8 minutes, just had no idea what I was going to do. And I was thinking about just getting on a chair to get a really high angle. I didn't know what happened. But as we're 2 minutes away from the ball drop, from New Year's, nothing was going on. They had the projector screen in the back, and they had the ball drop there live, and no announcement. I'm walking around still trying to figure out what's happening. And then, so 30 seconds until the ball drop, I spot the bride, and I made a split-second decision. I need to pull them out of this dance floor and into the front of the crowd so they could look at the projector live, and then I could get a shot of them kissing at New Year's. So this is what happened. So pretty much with a solid 15 seconds remaining, I miraculously got the bride and groom out to the front to get this shot. And so I'll discuss with you how to not miss pivotal shots, pivotal moments with wedding films. And the first thing is communication with everyone. That is a planner. You get a timeline. You have all the things on the timeline that you know where you have to be. You know what shots you have to get. And you either make a mental note or you just follow the timeline throughout the day like I do. I show up, I follow the timeline, I make sure I'm there, I get it. Communicate with the photographer. See what they plan on doing. See the shots they're trying to get. But for the most part, the most pivotal shots for weddings are everything that happens during the ceremony, because those things you cannot do over. Other things you can't do over is like first dance, bride and groom, all those nitty gritty itinerary items on the wedding timeline that happens at every wedding. Those are shots that you cannot do over. Portrait session, obviously you have a certain set of time. You do what you have to do. But there's certain things you just can't do over. Well, you can, but it'll be very weird and unprofessional if you told them to do it over. So obviously communicating with the bride and groom to see what they want to do to make sure everything's in order. And in my situation, this is where I failed on, because I should have went to the photographer, the planner, the DJ, and we should have had a little powwow of how we're going to execute capturing the moment for the bride and groom during the ball drop. And we didn't do that, and I was just kind of expecting things to happen, and I should have made sure that I 100% knew exactly what was going on. There's a concrete plan of how we were going to execute the ball drop. And of course, nothing happened. And honestly, miraculously, in this situation, I pulled them out, and the photographer, I guess he was paying attention, and he came out, and we got the shot. And honestly, I got the shot, but there are certain things that I probably would have liked as, if I would have been able to communicate with my second shooter the plan of what's going to happen, that he would have got to the front and got a wide angle, lower angle shot with the confetti versus, in the shot in the back, which still works, but I figured it would have been better if I had the nice 50 millimeter bokeh shot of them kissing, and then also a wider shot towards the front, going up, seeing the confetti, looking epic and all that stuff. But it is what it is. The other thing is you want to make sure that you have gear ready to go in the case you failed on the first one. Things happen, mistakes happen. So your backup is the gear that you have. In my case, I have Sony a7S III. I already plan on shooting this ball drop thing with the confetti in 120 frames per second. So when it happened, when I had them set up and the shot was ready, I just hit the screen, the finger of where I wanted to focus. In this case, I just tapped the bride's face in the screen. The Sony a7S III focused really quickly, and it was ready to go. I was also on a gimbal, and the gimbal is very easy. It's almost like handheld. I'm just walking with it. I know it's going to be stable, and I can move when I have to. In this case, the photographer kind of got in front of me when I was setting up, so I just easily took a few steps forward, recomposed, took a second, and I was ready to go. I could not imagine if I was shooting on a tripod or monopod and I was a manual focusing type of filmmaker who, mastered the art of manual focus. And hey, I know some of you guys love doing manual focus, and if you're going to criticize me for being autofocus, saying that I'm amateur, you go ahead and start your own channel, start your own Patreon about how manual focusing filmmaking is awesome. And I'm sure no one will watch it, but good luck to you. Anyway, that's the other thing. It's just gear. So in situations where it's run and gun, a lot of things unplanned could happen. Who knows, right? Weddings, no matter how much I plan, how much they plan, how much we communicate, sometimes things just kind of don't work out the way they're supposed to. Things run behind. Things happen out of nowhere. Father of the bride decides to do something wild that's not even on the timeline, and you have to be ready. And that's why I'm always on a camera like a Sony a7S III with super fast autofocus. I don't have to worry about that. And I'm always ready with the gimbal, or at the very least, being a handheld camera that has good IBIS on active state. I'm ready to go all the time. And I know I'll get the shot. I know I'll have the shot in focus in a millisecond because it has awesome autofocus. I don't have to worry about all this stuff. That's just me. And the third one, and this is very important, you just have to want to get the shot. You have to want to not mess up, meaning you have the determination to make it happen. And in my case, I was frantically walking around trying to find the bride and groom, trying to figure out what's going to happen. But my want of getting the shot and getting it done and not messing up and being quote unquote clutch in the moment, I made a split decision. I said, look, I need to get the shot. The shot's going to be trash if it's in the middle of the crowd. It is going to be a big bummer if I miss the shot because it's a New Year's Eve wedding and I'm not prepared. I'm a professional videographer, wedding videographer who's doing this for 7 years now, and I'm about to miss this. It's complete and utter rubbish, trash if I don't get this done. So I had to make it happen. And you have to be assertive. You have to get the shot when need be. If someone is about to walk in front of you while you are filming, you kindly push them out of the way, give them a nice stiff arm. You have to be assertive, and you have to, in that small window of time, that moment, you kind of have to be a dick because, or else you're going to miss a shot. Like, you just have to make that quote unquote business decision. And in my case, I said, I don't care where the photographers are. I have no idea where a second shooter is. All I know is I have a camera. I need to get the bride and groom in a spot where I can get this shot. That's all I cared about at that time in that 30-second window that I had, and that's what I did. And you have to do the same thing when you're faced with the same situation. Was the shot perfect? No, of course not, because the lights that we set up were pointing at the dance floor, and pulling them out to the front, obviously they're not in the light anymore. So they were a bit dark. Luckily, again, I shot Sony a7S III, no worry about low light, and I shot in 10-bit, 422. So if I had to do any extra grading, any more lifting of the shadows, the colors would hold up. There won't be an issue because, again, back to tip number 2, gear. Anyways, guys, this video has gotten a little bit long, but I hope it explained to you, and I hope it was helpful in terms of what you can do as a wedding filmmaker to avoid missing the shot and making sure that you are clutch in the moment and running gun shooting situations. Till next time, lighten up.